Did you see this 9,000 piece butterfly one?
I didn't see that one.
Or the unicorns?
Oh. See, this is why we were late.
We're not reading tonight. We got too much to do.
There's too many sales on puzzles right now.
Too many puzzle sales.
I've been sending Steve links all day.
Bad, Chris. Bad. I like that.
I've put puzzles in my cart on Amazon. I've removed them. I've put them back. I've removed them.
He just made me put a whole bunch in my cart.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
This is a bad influence, people.
I do what I can.
Welcome
in, everybody, to a supposed to be book night stream, book club stream.
We're getting close to the end of the book.
We're getting close.
Now, if we could have done this Saturday night, I showed you the picture of the Magic Kingdom as I read. So
that's true. Yep.
We're reading.
Let's welcome in the chat.
We're reading, Wendy.
Yep, we're reading. We're reading.
But we're gonna go fast so we can maybe talk about some puzzles.
There you go. Welcome in, Kenneth H. I think I missed part of the chat.
Oh, we're done?
No.
Oh.
Welcome in, Kenneth H. Janice Disney, Stacey Rogers, Vicky Gillespie, Nicole Happy's Hump, Fred O'Malley, Debbie Burnfeld, Janice, I got Samantha Lowe. Hello, Sam. Good to see you. Let's see. Scrolling down here. We've got Chris Dye, welcome in. Good to see you. Let's scrolling on down. Everybody's talking. This was before the stream started. Let's see. There she is. My snickerdoodle.
Popcorn. Oh, wait a minute. So go ahead.
The beautiful, the lovely. The Elizabeth Swan to my Will Turner. The Buttercup to my Wesley. The Jenny to my Harry. Monica to my Chandler.
The Elizabeth Taylor to your husband number 1, husband number 2, husband number 3, husband number 4, husband number all the way up to like whatever it is, 8.
I don't know. Welcome in, Angela Mitchell. Hello, dear.
Hello, Angela.
Jeanette Sebastian the Crab, Wendy B. Hello. Good to see you. Let's see. We got scroll on down. Mari Memphis. What's up, Mar? Hello. Good to see you. Jeep and Joy's here. Welcome in. Stephanie Keel. What's up, cuz? Hello. Good evening. Debbie, Mike at NYC. What's up? Hey, buddy. Wendy B's here. Hey, Wendy. Jeannie 52573. Welcome in. Paul Engel. Howdy, sir. Jonathan Chong. Welcome. And I think we got everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Biz Noah's Adventures. I might have missed Noah. I'm not sure. Welcome in, Noah.
We also might do some measuring soon.
We did talk. Yeah.
Talk about some measuring. We'll bring that up later.
We'll bring that up later. You want to stay till the end of the stream?
This has been a day. I'm eating popcorn for all those inquiring minds.
Yes.
Theo Samigo, hello.
Welcome in, Theo. Howdy. And Zanlax, welcome. Here you are. Hope everybody's doing well.
We're measuring, Kenneth.
We're measuring.
And I have my trusty tape measure right here.
It's already been measured once on stream.
It's true.
Might as well go for an update.
And if Molly's watching, it is bigger than 18 inches. Robert Dixon, hello.
Robert Dixon, welcome in. Good to see you. All right.
You haven't, your light is too far away now. We missed the lightsaber and the light pat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you're going to have to get something there. Don't fall out your chair.
There we go.
Calipers, yes, Kenneth.
So, we have we have a new couch being delivered tomorrow, so we have been measuring things like crazy. See? This couch is gone, so I have nowhere comfy to sit. Oh,
You ever drop something and go to catch it, and as a guy, miss and hit yourself? I just missed the popcorn. I hurt myself. Carry on.
Yeah, that. Whoops.
It's like a punch to the
gut. We were
gut.
off the rails and we had.
It's like a punch to the gut, but not the gut.
We've gone from reading a twisted tale to puzzle buying and twisted measuring. Yep. And punches to oneself.
Yes. All right. I love Wendy.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, I hit myself.
Yeah.
I dropped the popcorn. I went to grab it real fast before it hit the floor. I missed. So I failed twice.
Well, I'll read first to give you some time to recover.
You do what?
I read first so you have some time to recover.
Yes. Get the tears out of my eyes. Go ahead. For those keeping track, I don't remember what level we're on. Where are we at?
NFH. That's funny.
A pause before the dust storm.
A pause before the dust storm. Yes. Let me go back to that screen. Let me close out all these puzzle tabs I've got pulled up.
Don't call it. We're gonna use them later.
I just minimized it.
Okay.
So
people, we're gonna read 4 chapters tonight. Then we're gonna explain what we're gonna do next week.
Yes. So 4 chapters tonight.
I'm almost done with the popcorn. Then we'll wash my hands before I touch the keyboard.
So we start tonight with a pause before the dust storm, chapter 21. 2 more tonight and 1 more stream. We're done with this book.
And then we start book number 2, which I already got.
Yep.
I had to purchase it. It was on sale.
So,
well, I have it on here.
Have it on.
Not the actual book.
Right. Well, let me see. All right. And all right, I'm good. I'm going to check some. Okay. Is James made from Top Gears?
She said veg, like vegetable.
She did.
I think it was a typo, but it's okay.
All right. Are we ready for the book so we can get to the other fun stuff?
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands while you're reading, and I'll be right back.
All right. So we're going to start off a pause before the dust storm. And away we go. After the meeting had broken up and Sohrab and Dubin and the others had set about dividing their army up.
Sorry, did we tell people where we're at? What's going on?
Well, yeah, so that's right. We didn't recap.
I don't remember. I don't remember where we're at. I forgot to look.
Last week we had sympathies and strategies, where they were feeling down and dejected after Jafar had kidnapped and chased them and raided their hideaway. Jafar had kidnapped the Dubin's father and the niece and nephew. Joseph Cardillo, welcome in. G. Wilson, hello. They were feeling kind of down, not sure what to do, how to proceed, how they could fight against Jafar, and they ended up coming up with a plan. Aladdin came up with a plan. Basically, go at him at the front door with everything while another team sneaks in the back and tries to steal the book and Genie, the lamp, and while the other team has a diversion, basically. And so they started formulating the plan. They even all the non-Jafarites, I don't know if that's a word or not, but I made it up.
It is now.
All came in, and even the little old ladies wanted to fight, and
that's right. They can fight too.
Yep. They decided to make up teams or groups. They had alchemists that are making explosives and whatnot and everything, and planning out who's going to be where and setting everything up for the big conflict.
Now you're caught up. Sorry. Carry on, sir. Thank you.
Now we come to a pause before the dust storm. So here we go. After the meeting had broken up and Sohrab and Dubin and the others set about dividing their army up into logical groups, Aladdin finally had a moment to himself. He wandered outside and perched atop a crumbling wall, looking out at the dimmed lights of Agrabah. Even the palace seemed gloomier than usual, as if a strange extra helping of night had fallen over the city he loved. He rubbed his hands into his eyes. His body wasn't tired exactly, and he was certainly eager to do something. But first he had to say goodbye to Jasmine. The weeks had passed strangely, and the only thing he could ever be sure of was how much he wanted to be with her. As if summoned by his thoughts, like a wish granted by a genie, Jasmine came up behind him. She thought she was being silent. To a thief, her footsteps were as loud as horn flourish announcing her presence. She knocked on a piece of the wall. "Come in," Aladdin said with a wry smile. "I thought I'd find you here," she said, leaping up to sit near him and take in the view. "So, Royal Princess, excuse me, Sultana Jasmine, coming to admire your soon-to-be kingdom?" he asked with a smile. "Yes, I want to make some changes. I think it could use a few more lights," she said, finger to her chin in contemplation. "Torches there, and there. And maybe a different shade of white this time. More eggshell or moon, less sand." "Definitely less sand," Aladdin agreed. He put his arm around her and drew her close. She leaned her head on his shoulder. They were like two cats, he thought, sitting on a fence together looking at the moon. Except that they were looking at the palace. And in that palace, terrible things were happening. He could feel her heart betraying her calm, joking exterior. It beat as nervously as his, or maybe that was his heart he was feeling. It was getting hard to tell. "We have to get Maruf and Ahmed and Shirin," she murmured. "The rest of it, if we fail, we can try again later, but we cannot fail them." "I know," Aladdin said, his arm tightening around her. "I keep seeing his face and Shirin's and Ahmed's in the sand," Jasmine said. But what?" Aladdin set her up gently and turned her to face him. "You're going to think what I have to say is stupid and weird and selfish," she said, blushing. "Tell me," Aladdin urged quietly. Jasmine sighed. At least they're in there together. The children have Maruf trying to help them, and Maruf has us trying to rescue them. If it was me, I'd be in there by myself. Before I met you, before I joined Morgiana and Dubin and the street rats, I was completely alone. Before I ran away, my closest friend was a tiger." Aladdin laughed softly. "Before I met you, my closest friend was a monkey." He kissed her on her forehead. "We're quite a pair." Jasmine took his hands in hers. His were bigger, but somehow they felt smaller inside her fingers. Covered, warm, protected. She looked up at him with her eyes large and shaky. "Aladdin," she whispered, "I love you."
The L word. Oh.
Yep. He started to open his mouth. A month ago, a few weeks ago, something glib and silly would have popped out to make the moment seem less serious. "And I love you, Jasmine," he said instead. Oh. He turned his palms over and squeezed her hands. "Whatever happens next, whether we save the city or it falls into a pit in the earth and is lost forever, I would never ever change a moment of our time together. You are the best, the only good thing that has happened in my life." A half asleep chitter came annoyed out of the shadow in the rocks. "Except for you, Abu," Aladdin said, smiling. Jasmine smiled too. She leaned over and kissed him. Her lips made him warm all over, warmer than the hot desert night. He could no longer run his hands through her thick, long hair. It was now always up in a tight braid she wore, but her neck and back were soft, and he stroked them with his fingertips as they embraced. When they pulled apart, Jasmine rested her hands on his shoulders again. And now all of your friends and are my friends too. Suddenly I have friends. Aladdin snorted. They didn't become my friends again until you came along. You kind of helped us bury the hatchet. With you now know all of the unimportant stuff about saving the kingdom and feeding hungry people. Jasmine smiled. Yes, well, I wouldn't have known about the hungry people if it wasn't for you and them. I'll bet there's a lot more about Agrabah I don't know. Once I'm Sultana, I'll rely on the street rats to keep me grounded. Really? Absolutely. I need to know the people of my city to rule it. I need to know the people of my city to rule it properly. And one of the best things to have come out of all of this is the support network that the street rats have grown into. Maybe I can somehow use that on a greater scale. Aladdin laughed. That sounds like a great idea, and I'm sure Morgiana and Dubin would like a piece of the future action in Agrabah, even if it's not illegal. Oh, I can't wait until this is all started, Jasmine said, standing up impatiently. I want to know how it all turns out. I want to win. When we rescue Maroof and get the lamp and the book, everything begins. Yes, Aladdin said cautiously. One of his words had jumped out at him. But we're burning the book, right? Jasmine stopped her pacing and stared at him. No, Aladdin. We've talked about this. It's a valuable resource. We can use it to defeat Jafar. I don't need an evil book to defeat an evil sorcerer. That sounds like a bad idea. You sound like one of the suspicious anti-magic old folk, Jasmine pointed out. Like everything that comes out of magic is bad. Can we talk about the genie for a moment? Aladdin asked hotly. He doesn't seem evil at all, but the moment he appears in our world, his powers are used to do terrible things. He's not bad, and his magic isn't bad, but other people are. I'm not Jafar. No, but you're human, Jasmine. What if someone managed to convince you that the people really would be safer and healthier if we kept the peacekeeping patrols going? What if a grieving mother begged you to bring her child back to her dead child back, even as a ghoul? Wouldn't you do it? They were very close, looking into each other's eyes. Jasmine had her hands on her hips. Aladdin had his hands clenched into knots. Morgiana appeared below them. Her footsteps were, of course, silent. She saw the two, heard the silence, and coughed nervously. I hate to interrupt you two, lovebirds, but it's time. We'll be right down, Jasmine said without taking her eyes off Aladdin. He didn't turn either. Okay, but hurry. By the stars, it looks like it's already past the third watch. Morgiana tiptoed back the way she came as quickly as she could. Aladdin shook his arms out and took a deep breath. You know what? We could talk about this after we've rescued Maroof, Ahmed, and Sharon and stolen the lamp and grabbed the book and defeated Jafar and gotten back out alive. Excellent point, Jasmine said. She put her hands on either side of his face and kissed him. Let's not leave arguing. I'd rather not leave at all, he said, pulling her close one last time. Seems like old times.
New chapter.
New chapter. Once again, Aladdin found himself sitting on a rooftop. This time it was a leather tannery to the north of the palace. He wondered vaguely if this would be his last time sitting on a rooftop. Around him was the usual detritus one found on the roofs of Agrabah. Mats were drying fruit, lines were hanging clothes and rugs, a small chicken pen, the boards and ladders that had nowhere else to be stored. also a goat, which stood there chewing and paying absolutely no attention to the strange humans who had invaded his penthouse. With Aladdin were Morgiana and Dubin, the two handpicked thieves, and Parisa, whose specialty turned out to be the arson. Jasmine was directing the stage of Agrabah with Sorab back at the bread warehouse. She would order the signal for when they should set out. So now the four were just sitting under the still skies above the fear darkened city waiting. Finally, after a quick look to make sure that Parisa was trying to distract Dubin from a pair of knuckle bones and a game of nine squares, Morgiana broke the silence. You guys fighting? Aladdin took a deep breath. It was funny that he had come to this point with Morgiana. First, they were close, and then he wrote her off, and now it was easy to talk to her, almost like an old friend. We have very different ideas on what to do with the book of Al-Azif when we grab it. Oh, that's easy. I'd use it to wish for a giant mansion and hundreds of servants, Morgiana sighed, swinging her legs like a young girl. Aladdin shot her a look. Kidding, sort of. My dreams of riches have been ruined by the lunatic Jafar. I don't know what I'd do with it. Maybe buried in a desert. Once again, Aladdin thought back to the Cave of Wonders, the buried treasure, the buried lamp, history repeating itself. It's not like the lamp or the genie, Morgiana. It doesn't grant wishes. It's an ancient dark tome of evil knowledge that raises the dead and kills people and breaks all of the known laws of magic. It needs to be burned. Aladdin sighed, kicking his feet over the side of the building. She thinks it could somehow be used for good. Morgiana frowned, thinking, that's tough, but if I were you, I'd give in to her. Aladdin looked at the thief, surprised. My friend, she said gently, Jasmine is the best thing that ever happened to you. You should do anything you can to help keep her. I should. What about you? He asked with a thoughtful smile. When was the last time you gave in to Dubin? We're not together, she answered promptly. Aladdin raised an eyebrow at her. Officially, she added. He waited. Oh, shut up. He gets his way enough, she said, hitting him in exasperation. I'm worried about him, Aladdin admitted, glancing at their friend who was refusing Parisa's game. He usually manages to suck things up and deal with them in his own way. He's never been the broody type. I know, Morgiana said, frowning. I'm worried about him too. He's acting strangely, almost secretive, pulled into himself. If I didn't know better, wait, look, she pointed. Arching high into the sky from the garden quarter were four flaming arrows tracing a giant tiger's paw across the sky. That's the signal, Aladdin said, crawling over to the edge of the roof to get a better look at the city. Somewhere in the distance, a noisy torch-carrying crowd was assembling to very obviously march on the palace. Uneasy patches of glowing red across the city reacted immediately, heading toward the disturbance, like ants suddenly realizing that their home was threatened. Overhead, the phalanx of soldiers and ghouls patrolling the skies stopped their maneuvers and headed in the same direction. Aladdin found himself counting in his head. Right when he got to 20, an explosion lit up the old market. The aerial guards paused, unsure what to do. One scout broke away and made for the palace. Morgiana and Aladdin watched this one zoom impolitely over the walls and through a large mid-level window. Moments later, the shutters flew open in the public balcony, and Jafar stormed out to see for himself what was going on in the city. Let's go, Aladdin ordered. The four thieves appeared to dive straight over the side of the warehouse. But of course, each of them grabbed a clothesline below. They pulled themselves hand over hand across the street above the heads of some human soldiers running out into the night. One on the other side, they dropped it onto a terrace. From there, they leapt to the ground and made for the shadow of the palace wall. Morgiana, Dubin, and Parisa clenched daggers in their teeth, but Aladdin held nothing as the four of them scurried up the old battlement. Each was made for keeping out armies and militias, not thieves. They were terribly exposed, four dark shapes against the expanse of white that fairly glowed even under dim conditions. At any moment, the guard pacing the top could look down and easily see them. Aladdin just worked steadily at finding footholds and pulling himself up. He refused to look up or down to check his progress. Finally, at the top, he flipped himself up and over and landed in a crouch, looking quickly both ways. The plan seemed to be working. There was no one else up there. The only guard left was running toward the main gate to help release the outer portcullis. Aladdin fixed a rope around the sturdy beam to prepare for shinning down the other side. Morgiana's head popped up beside him, and then her body, light and fleet as a bird. She couldn't help taking a moment to survey the palace, laid out so perfectly below. The towers, the gardens, the hidden courtyards, the waterworks that supplied the baths. It looked like one of the old sultan's toy models from up here. She took her head and allowed herself to a low whistle. She shook her head and allowed herself a low whistle. Aladdin gave her a rueful, sympathetic grin. Dubin and Parisa finally made it up. When they were settled, Aladdin pointed to the tallest tower in the palace. That's Jafar's. The moon tower? Parisa asked. Morgiana nodded. Good luck. The girl gave a wicked grin. I don't need luck. All I need is a flint and tinder. The three of them started to run across the short stretch of open field. Sensing something, Aladdin stopped short. He skidded to a halt just as a strange red light swept in front of his path. He looked up. Hanging in the air above them, silent as death, was a pair of ghouls. Their dead eyes moved inhumanly across the landscape below. One of them slowly swung a strange black lantern with an intricate hood that directed the red beam. The three thieves froze. Morgiana whispered an expletive. Time also froze as the dead things made an agonizingly slow pace across the courtyard and then back. The sky behind them was black as sin. It was the darkest time of the night, which meant that dawn wasn't far off. Aladdin felt his heart skip furiously within his still body. Eventually, the beam continued past them on its steady path and kept going. The ghouls moved on, soundlessly patrolling the night with their evil lamp. Was it Aladdin's imagination, or did the grass look drier after the light passed over it? Did it somehow look less than it looked before? The three thieves made a dash for a relative safety of the shadow of the tower. What terrible new magic is that? Dubin cried. There's a special place in hell reserved for Jafar, Morgiana muttered, and his servants. I feel sorry for whoever those two once were, Aladdin said pointedly, although privately he thought it might not have been such a terrible thing if the men had died a little more explosively and left no bodies behind to reanimate. Morgiana pulled out a tiny clawed grapple, one of her favorite tools, and after swinging it on the end of its shim silken cord a few times, let it loose. With a neat cricket, it landed inside the window. She tugged and it held, digging its claws into the plaster. Dubin motioned for the other two to go first while he held the cord steady. Morgiana and Aladdin scurried up like monkeys, and then he hurried up after them. After he pulled his stocky body through the window, he paused and looked looked around in wonder. Wow, not what I want in my own castle, but impressive nonetheless. It was a giant room filled with shelves and cabinets and drawers. Occupying every nook and cranny were tiny statues of everything, people long dead, and beasts that never were, and buildings that seemed unlikely. The remaining space was taken up by books. There were piles of books on the floor, stacks on the table, shelves stuffed with books lining all the walls. Dozens of urns held hundreds of rolled up scrolls. Wax and clay tablets with ledgers in strange languages set on open drawers. Maps of colorful oceans and strange countries lay unrolled on special slanted tables. The room was dim, just as Jasmine had predicted. Only two small lamps burned at the door, far away from any of the flammable parchments or precious scrolls. It was hard to tell just how big the library was and how much it held. Aladdin began to understand a little more about Jasmine. She had access to all that knowledge, all the collected information and wisdom of the world, it seemed, and couldn't get out to see it herself. Aladdin, Dubin suddenly hissed, interrupting his thoughts. He crept up to the doorway and listened. Guards are coming, two, I think. Already? Morgiana cursed. This mission is doomed. Quickly. Aladdin gestured for her to move to the other side of the door. There was no place for Aladdin to hide. The tables and desks were all too low and narrow, elegant and very hard to hide behind legs. This seemed to be the one room in the palace without a divan or couch. Unable to think of anything else to do, Aladdin picked up a scroll and began to make a big show of studying it. Two human guards appeared in the doorway and gave the room a cursory check and then saw Aladdin. They scowled and drew their scimitars. Funny, Aladdin drawled, turning the scroll upside down and frowning. I always thought that the Hyborians lived in the north, not the south. The guard on the left recovered from his shock first and opened his mouth to order Aladdin to do something or other. Before a single peep came out, Morgiana and Dubin grabbed a couple of large bronze urns and brought them down on the guards' heads. The guards slumped forward immediately, and the two thieves caught them, less for their safety than to keep the noise down. Dubin swore, "They'll be missed if they don't return to their watch." "We should kill them," Morgiana said promptly, "and have them reanimate into undead soldiers who can't feel pain. Not a good idea," Aladdin whispered. "Come on, I think I have a plan."
New chapter. Dawn approaches. It's getting interesting.
It is.
Getting a little bit of a fighty vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
The fighting, getting ready to fight. Okay, here we go. Back at the warehouse, Jasmine was watching the skies and sending out orders to the various divisions of the street rat army with Sohrab by her side. Even Khosrow, the old religious leader, had been surprisingly adept in helping organize their army. "I had 50 years of teaching acolytes," he had told her with his gentle smile. "It's not war, but it has its similarities." As a runner came in, exhausted and breathless, Jasmine, the angry crowd with torches, is working. They've shut down the Street of Doves and the way by the old synagogue. Aiken reports, and I've seen with my own eyes, that they took down about 15 armed guards with three ghouls. "Excellent news," Jasmine said, clapping her hands. though she wished there had been a few more guards and ghouls subdued. Also, they think 20 more guards, primarily ghouls, have been dispatched to deal with the fires now burning in the old market. Yaya witnessed several troops, some 20 men strong, fanning out through the leather district towards them. Thank you for the report. Please refresh yourself with water and food, and then come to me again for your next detail. Isa, Denny, she called for 2 more runners. The 2 who presented themselves couldn't have been more than 8. Go tell the archers to fire the second signal. It's time to send out Raja. The 2 little kids nodded and ran downstairs. Jasmine clicked her tongue, and the tiger bounded up to her. Sensing the excitement, he didn't lay at her feet like he usually did, but stood nearby, tense and watching. Now his tiger sinews and muscles expanded and contracted in delight. On the hunt, finally. Jasmine threw her arms around his neck. Their cause needed all the soldiers it could muster, of course. But what real free will, am I saying there? Okay. But what real free will did a pet tiger have? That's what it says. Or 2 8-year-olds desperate to please, for that matter. And here she was, sending them off to danger and in Raja's case battle. Good luck, old friend, she whispered in his soft ear. Then she took out the things obtained for this dark purpose, a turban, a sash, a boot, all belonging to guard captains. She commanded an army of thieves. Stealing things was the easy part. Jasmine held them up for Raja to smell. His giant nostrils expanded and contracted. He frowned as if taking the matter incredibly seriously. Go, she ordered when he was done. Attack. Raja growled and leapt down the stairs, 10 at a time, tail swishing. Jasmine told herself she didn't have time to worry or mourn. People were sacrificing far more than she was in this. The poor boy Jalil, his parents, Razul. Besides, Raja could take care of himself. He was a tiger. She shook her shoulders and turned back to the map on the table, updating it with the latest developments. An explosion rocked the hideout. She grabbed at the wall as bits of dried clay and wood and pebbles rained down. What was that? She demanded. Someone. That signal was too early. Sohrab came striding in, a grim look on his face. That wasn't one of ours. Whatever it was, hit near Dubin and Morgiana's old lair. We need Hazan to come back and tell us what happened. Jafar, Jasmine swore, looking toward the palace. Excuse me. In the dim halls of the palace complex, Aladdin and Dubin walked silently down the middle of the cool marble floors. Jasmine said, the baths are this way, Aladdin whispered, and the throne room is upstairs past them. On the way to the 2 guards turned the corner and moved toward them, blocking the end of the hall. They raised their scimitars. The 2 thieves raised their stolen scimitars back and gave the clacking salute that Aladdin had observed the last time he had broken into the palace. Sloppy there, one of the guards remarked, with an eye to Dubin's technique, but the 2 real guards marched on. Aladdin practically crumbled with relief when they were done. Dubin smoothed down the front of his shirt with an injured pride. They were dressed in the uniforms of the guards they had tied up and stuffed in a closet. Morgiana ran up from behind them, where she had been hiding out in the view. Told you I should have been the other guard, she hissed. The turban didn't fit you, Aladdin hissed back. We talked about that. A tremor ran through the floor under their feet like a giant had stomped his foot or there was an earthquake in the desert. Not enough to make things fall, but enough to make them dizzy. Was that inside the palace walls? Dubin asked uneasy. No, I think it was farther away, Aladdin said. None of the explosives they had planned to use were that big. What was going on out there? He shook his head. He just had to trust that Jasmine and the Street Rat Army would distract Jafar and his legions until they could steal the lamp and the book and rescue Dubin's family. His job was to concentrate on the task at hand. It was a strange feeling to have to rely on somebody else. This is ridiculous, Morgiana said, rolling her eyes. If you have a better plan, speak up, Aladdin suggested. I got nothing, kiddo, she said pleasantly. All right, then let's stick to the current one. The fate of Agrabah and Dubin's family rests on us. So they pressed on. It's some sort of fiery cannonball or something, Hazan reported out of breath. His eyebrows were singed. It hit right where the old hideout was. It's all on fire, purple and red. Purple, Sohrab asked. That sounds like magic or the work of the Alchemaics. And we know they're not working with him, Jasmine said. But why hit the hideout, the military man wondered with a frown. He pointed at the chalky map of Agrabah. He already cleared that place out. Only an idiot would have gone back there after he grabbed his hostages. Why not hit here, or here, where he could do some real damage that would be visible to all? Because he's just lashing out in anger, Jasmine said with grim triumph. Like we said, he's not a brilliant tactician. He's a sorcerer and a grand vizier, and he's never been in battle before. This is exactly what he wanted. He's distracted and angry and not able to see what's going on right under his nose. It may all be easier than we thought. Jasmine, a bloody young man came into the room, limping and straining under the weight of his burden. In his arms, he carried an injured younger man. An ugly blue and black gash disfigured his forehead, and his face was deathly pale. His eyes were rolled back, unseeing. Lay him down over here, Jasmine said immediately, indicating a place on the floor with a few pillows and cloths on it. We never thought to set up an infirmary, Hazan. Before you go, Hazan, before you go to refresh yourself, please speak to some of the older women and see if we can organize something. Absolutely, Jasmine, the boy said, bowing and trotting out. Sohrab took one of the look at the wounds, and his face turned stony. He obviously had few doubts about the boy's chances. Some water, Jasmine ordered. Bandages. He opened his mouth to say something and then thought better of it. I'll send one of my men up, but Jasmine, if he dies, we will lock him up with the other ghouls. Sohrab shook his head disapprovingly. This is not some child, Jasmine. This is a nearly grown man who would be hard to defeat as a ghoul. It would be kinder to end it for him. Jasmine closed her eyes, feeling the truth of the matter. I know. And the hideout rocked with another blast. Aladdin and Dubin crept forward, ready to spring back into military stances if they were caught. Morgiana followed silently behind. There was a not quite secret stairway in the back of the library building that led up to a balcony bordered by delicately arched windows. Excuse me. These looked out over a small courtyard lined with sour orange trees. Across from this were the royal baths, which connected directly to the audience chamber, banquet hall, and eventually the throne room itself. That had sounded strange until Jasmine explained to Aladdin that sultans often entertained foreign guests and consulted with top advisors while enjoying a pleasant, mint-scented sweat in the steam rooms. Nice work if you can get it, he muttered. A pair of guards passed through the courtyard. One took a lazy swipe at an orange branch as he passed. The razor-sharp blade of his scimitar neatly and silently cut an orange from its stem, and it fell, with a quiet thunk to the ground like a head after an execution. Morgiana swallowed in nervousness. I just wanted to pickpocket things for a living, she said. Maybe get involved with some high-end jewelry theft. I'm going to lose my head over this little civil uprising. I'll take these guys over the ghouls any day, Dubin shot back in a whisper. Better to die at the hands of a man. Wait a minute. We haven't seen any ghouls recently, Aladdin said slowly. They're all human guards here inside the palace, alive, except for the ghouls outside in the air with that lantern. They need guards who can actually think and act independently close to Jafar, Morgiana said, nodding. Now, not just, go, die. 2 more human guards marched into view. The 3 thieves fell into silence. 45 heartbeats, Dubin said when they were gone. That's how much time between them we have. Morgiana took her grappling hook and swung it around and around, estimating the distance between them and in the opening across the way that led to the baths. She kept swinging until the next set of guards marched by below them, and then she immediately let the hook fly. It missed. She cursed as it hit the far wall and clattered to the floor. Quietly as she could, Morgiana whipped the cord hand over hand like a fisherman, trying to draw in a line before the end got snagged. When she pulled it up the wall, it dragged, making little scratchy noises. 2 more guards came into view. Morgiana froze. The hook hung there, obviously, in the middle of the white marble wall at the end of a long, suspicious-looking rope. The guards walked right by it. The 3 thieves let out breaths that they didn't even know they were holding. Morgiana swore again and yanked the hook in, then cast it back out immediately. It grabbed hold of the opposite ledge, and this time it stayed. They held their breath again when the next set of guards came by, but the rope hung high above them, unnoticed, as they passed underneath. As soon as they were gone, Morgiana lightly leapt up on it and ran across like it was a tightrope. Dubin was next, more slowly but just as surely. With a measured pace, he made it to the other side and dove through the window just as the guards came by. Finally, it was Aladdin's turn. He had braced the cord for the other 2. Now he had no one to do it for him. He grabbed a chair and pulled it close to the window, quickly looping the cord through its arm in a highwayman's hitch, a knot that would release easily when he was ready. Holding the extra cord in his hand, he waited until the next guard had gone and then leapt up onto the ledge and stepped onto the rope. He was more than halfway across when the chair tipped. The sudden slackening of the cord caused Aladdin to pitch forward. He swung his arms desperately, trying to regain his balance. He didn't. He fell, and the next pair of guards rounded the corner. Uh-oh. New chapter. This is getting it's getting a little tense. Okay, here we go. Casualties of war. The dying man breathed strangely. First, it was quick, shallow breaths, then gasping, deep, horrible noises, like all the air in the world couldn't help him now. Jasmine knelt over him, holding one of his hands with her left hand and nervously stroking his brow with her right. In addition to friends, babies, and the rest of the world, the royal princess had also been isolated from sickness and death. She had no idea what she was doing. She was terrified in a way she hadn't been when her parents had died. It took all of her energy just to keep the tears in check and her face calm. Sohrab had tried to persuade her to let him do what was necessary, but she sent him away to continue giving orders in her name. I am Sultana. I cannot expect people to do for me what I cannot, she said. She had said to the general. It will be all right, she murmured to the man, wondering how bad it was to lie to the dying. But he didn't appear to be listening. His eyes were wide and focused on something beyond her. A long, glittering, sharp knife lay on the floor next to him. After endless moments of labored breathing and silent staring, he suddenly spasmed. His head lifted like it was looking for something. Then he fell back and stopped moving. His eyes were still open, but there was nothing in them at all now. Jasmine bit her lip in a furious attempt not to cry. She bowed her head and began to whisper the only prayer she knew that fit the circumstances. Khosrow finally appeared at the door. He came over and made some gestures over the young man. He closed his eyes and began to pray with her. The dead man also closed his eyes. And then he opened them again. Where his eyes had been were now pools of dark, evil red. Khosrow's own eyes widened, but he did not stop praying. He merely spoke the words more loudly. Jasmine picked up the knife. The ghoul sat up and made clicking noises in the back of its throat, the unlikely sound of clearing leftover drying blood from it. Jasmine gritted her teeth and brought the blade down across its exposed throat. She flinched but didn't hesitate as the edge hit sinew and bone. The ghoul didn't scream. It didn't thank her. It gurgled and made some more sounds before growing still, lifeless again. The guards were heading across the courtyard straight for Aladdin. Aladdin flailed his arms as he fell, desperately pinwheeling them, trying to grab for the rope. At the very last second, he managed to snag it. Quick, Morgiana hissed, working the hook out of the wall. Together, she and Dubin wrapped the cord around their fists, trying to pull up Aladdin as he dipped precipitously toward the ground. He bent his torso like a performer in the market, slowly, so as not to draw attention to himself. Straining his arms, he managed to pull his knees to his chest. His toes braced on the underside of the rope. He hung there upside down like a bat. The guards kept marching forward under him. The red feather on the turban of one tickled Aladdin's back as he passed under the thief. The guard unthinkingly reached up to stroke his feather back into place, and then they were gone. Aladdin uncoiled himself slowly, feeling his stomach also uncoil in relief at the same time. Hand over hand, he pulled himself toward Dubin and Morgiana. Dubin reached over and grabbed him. The knot on the chair loosened itself, and the rope fell to the courtyard. Aladdin quickly pulled it back up and wrapped it around his arm. That was close, Morgiana whispered. That was nothing, Aladdin said. I've escaped worse with a bunch of stolen bananas. Hey, speaking of, where is Abu? He always comes on your little adventures. Aladdin looked bleak. I left him back home. If things got bad, I wanted him to be free. Silent and sober, the thieves pressed on. When Sohrab came in, he clapped Jasmine sympathetically on her back and then resumed his duties like a good soldier. He reported on what her various battalions were doing and what the score was. Some of the religious acolytes had taken the body away, but Jasmine still felt its presence. I'm sorry, how many down? She suddenly asked, realizing she hadn't been paying attention. We don't know exactly who was caught in that second blast, Sohrab said a little impatiently. Honestly, I have no idea what our true numbers are. This is all a bit more sudden and disorganized than I am used to. Numbers? These are people, and they are being killed and raised from the dead and added to his side unless someone puts them to their permanent rest. This has to stop. We have to stop people from being killed now. She said this last part shakily, barely in control of herself. Jasmine, this is war, Sohrab said calmly. Strange, unholy war. You might have read about tactics and history and wars in the past, but this is reality. People get hurt. People get killed. Do you want to save Agrabah and Maruf and the children? Of course, Jasmine said. She took a deep breath. Of course. She walked to the doorway and looked up at the sky. Even with the dust, she could see Hormuz, the large red planet, just beginning to sink behind the mountains. On the other side of the sky, the heavens were a shade lighter than they had been just a little while ago. The sun was preparing to rise. I will do what needs to be done. Of course, Princess, you would. You would make the warriors of old proud. So Rob saluted and went back inside to give more orders. The moment his back was turned, Jasmine ran out into the night. She drew her robe close to obscure her face and body. She passed by the crowds of street rats running off on their missions completely unnoticed. There was a strange excitement in the crowds, incompletely illuminated by the scattered torches. People who would normally never have talked to each other were cursing and planning, arguing and preparing. Such teamwork as Jasmine had never been part of, ever. She wished she could have stayed and joined them. Well, hers was a different fate. It was up to her to save Agrabah now. She walked alone into the darkness, leaving the street rat army behind her. She kept to the back alleys, hiding whenever anyone came too close. Frightened citizens, angry mobs, scimitar-wielding Imperial guards. There was so much confusion in the streets, she didn't worry about any of the aerial soldiers. All they would see, if they spotted her, was one scared running woman with no torch or weapon. There were far more important things that night for them to be dealing with. She passed a courtyard where smoke and fire blanketed everything in blurry light and shadow. Despite this, she could see the dark outline of a large tiger pounding through the streets like a ghost. Jasmine smiled and waved, although he couldn't see her. A psst caused her to look up. 4 more fiery arrows passed through the night sky, making a giant mark of Raja. Time for Parisa to start her fire. Everything was going according to plan without her. Good. Eventually, she found what she was looking for, a lone red-eyed ghoul standing in a pool of darkness, scimitar out, waiting for orders, blocking a street. Lower your weapon, Jasmine ordered, stepping forward into its line of sight. The ghoul slowly raised its head. Do you remember me? I am Princess Jasmine, the bride Jafar wants to marry. I am turning myself in. Take me to him. Though they were sneaking silently through the shadows, quite possibly to meet their doom, still Aladdin couldn't help think how great it would be to live in the palace. The royal baths were larger than some of the more impressive mosques and synagogues in Agrabah. Vaulted ceilings soared overhead, tiled in white and blue squares that made patterns like waves of the ocean. Delicately latticed, impossibly thin stone screens separated the women's bath from the men's. A separate area for cooling off appeared to have its own kitchen and wine cellar. Golden taps controlled the water flow in sunken tubs, while jewel-encrusted fountains splattered out perfect diamond-like drops, reflected by the ropes of actual diamonds that draped over the tiny blue oil lamps. Morgiana obviously had similar thoughts, albeit less from a living in than a stealing from perspective. Dubin, we should have hit this place ages ago. Parisa should have finished her job by now, Aladdin said, glancing out a window to look at the stars. So this is the part where we cut through the audience chamber and then to the banquet hall to get to the throne room. And then comes the hard part. Yeah, stealing a lamp and a book and saving Dubin's family out from under the nose of the world's most powerful sorcerer, Morgiana sighed. My mother never warned me about things like this. Think of the stories you'll be able to tell. Think of the bragging rights, Aladdin countered. Think of as they went into the next large bathing room, the 3 almost walked smack into 2 patrolling guards. Prisoner, Aladdin amended quickly. Think of the prisoner. She could get away. Suddenly, Morgiana was much closer to Dubin, who quickly had his arm around her shoulders like he was preventing her from escaping. What goes on here, soldiers? The older guard demanded. The gem in his black turban was a strange opalescent yellow. That must mean something in Jafar's crazy new reorganization. Like maybe he was a captain or something similar. We caught this lady trying to make off with a diamond soap dish, Aladdin said cheerfully. She thought the chaos outside was a perfect time for a brazen theft of the palace. I put it back, Morgiana whimpered, cringing effectively. Please let me go. Whip me if you have to. Don't take me to the Sultan. The yellow-gemmed guard snorted with derision. We would never bother His Highness with a street rat. Your fellow rats are ganging up and trying to overthrow the government tonight, and you aren't even brave enough to join them. You really are a cowardly piece of filth. Aladdin noticed the tone in the captain's voice. It wasn't respect, exactly, but it wasn't outright condemnation of this insurrection. Hand her over to me. A few nights in the dungeon should teach her what's really worth fearing. Morgiana looked at Aladdin in concern. Oh, I thought we would take her down ourselves, he improvised. I want the credit for having caught her single-handedly. Dubin coughed. With my partner, of course. Single-handedly with my partner. No, you should patrol and see if she had any partners of her own, the captain said, grabbing Morgiana's shoulder and pulling her. All prisoners of the state must be handled by branded soldiers, right? He narrowed his eyes and glared at Aladdin. Aladdin felt his heart thumping harder and harder in his chest. And then Morgiana caught Aladdin's eye. Very, very slightly, she nodded her head. Let me go, she was saying. Go on. Of course, sir, Aladdin said, motioning for Dubin to release her. Just make sure I get the credit for the capture. We'll come back for you, he mouthed as the guards dragged Morgiana off between them. Jasmine tried not to show any emotion as the two ghouls carried her into the ominously lit lightning sky. Their arms locked through hers around the elbows, and she stood on their feet. There was no fear of falling. She was just a little chilly in the high night air, but below her, Agrabah was burning. The moon tower had been successfully set aflame. Jafar's personal rooms were at the top and bottom of the ancient observatory, and no doubt there would be things, artifacts, personal mementos, books, and scrolls he would want to save. The plan seemed to be working. Whatever he had been hurling at the resistance seemed to have abated for the moment. The scary glow of ghoulish red dotted the city like a plague that was taking over another otherwise healthy body. And dawn was not that far off. To distract herself and keep from panicking, Jasmine snuck a look at the thick, ornate cuffs the ghouls wore. Poor magic carpet, another victim of Jafar's war on Agrabah. She wondered if what little sentience it had was still there somewhere in its ripped up and resewn seams. She wished a silly, girlish wish that she had had a chance to really fly on the carpet when it was still a carpet, with Aladdin, zooming through the night air like she was doing now, but with his warm arms to hold on to and the entire world at their feet. They could have gone anywhere they wanted. They could have been completely free. They dropped down to the land of the public balcony, the one where her father used to make speeches, the one where Jafar had murdered him. Now it was a landing pad for the undead soldiers of Jafar's new army. As skilled and ungraceful as large, ugly insects, the ghouls hit the floor hard. With wordless pushes from behind, they forced Jasmine before them into the antechamber of the throne room. What few people remained of her father's staff looked shocked when they saw her standing there, unresisting, chin held high. One chamberlain ran to find Jafar. The rest of them went back to whatever they were doing, drawing up lists, checking off names against maps, and who knew what else. Bad things. Jasmine? Jafar strode into the room, resplendent or ridiculous in his black and red cloaks, robes, and sashes. He gripped his black cobra staff nonchalantly, but he looked, for once, uncertain. I turned myself in, Jafar, she said, keeping her voice steady. There have been too many deaths already. I want peace. I will consent to marrying you. Boo! I don't like that part. You're muted.
Sarah J says your teacher approved.
I'm teacher approved?
Yes.
I was a teacher's pet.
I guess you're one again.
Oh, I stumbled a lot tonight. Sorry.
Hey, Sarah J, welcome in. And David Bacco.
Hello, everybody.
Nina Murphy, welcome in. I saw Monorail Molly popped in too. And TV.
Yes, Molly was here. She was here for your sultry voice, she said.
Yep. Boy, a lot going on. I hate to
There's
leave
a lot going on. We're into it right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is it.
We're coming up to the end of the book.
We can't read more. The next chapter is 54 pages.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, we could finish it if we wanted to, but it's after 10 o'clock already, and we have puzzles to talk about.
Yep.
Just wait till next week, guys. We're almost there. Next week's it. We're going to finish the book next week, and then the following week, we'll start the next one, right?
We got 2 chapters in the epilogue next week.
Yes, that is true. Chris and I are still deciding how to do it for next week. We're gonna review it, but I might read the first chapter, and you'll finish the entire thing after that. Does that how we read it?
We might read it together.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Try not to have it.
I need to take a phone call real quick.
What's that?
I need to take a phone call real quick.
Go right ahead.
All
I'll
right.
entertain people or give it my best go, my best college try. So, people, there's a lot going on here. You have all these different. I like the way these books are written. They're dark. They're more than young adult, in my opinion. But I mean, we got the very depiction of Jasmine flying in the sky with ghouls. So you have that scenario going on. You have Aladdin, Dubin, and Morgiana sneaking in from one angle. You have the assault on the front gate. You have the girl setting the blaze to the tower, and you have the people back at the hideout. There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on.
That was a quick phone call.
Yeah. The girl child's here.
Oh, she okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it seems to be well planned and everything, but it just I don't like Jasmine giving herself up.
It was well planned if they would have stuck to the plan, but Jasmine ruined that plan.
Yeah.
Jasmine went rogue and decided, nope, she's turned herself in. She's got her own plan, which is not a bad plan for a distraction. However, nobody else knows about the plan.
You know, part of me has wondered, are we going to end up with the same end point?
You mean like as the original story?
Yes, where
that's
where
what
Aladdin tricks Jafar.
Yes. So that's what I was gonna say. So she's going off on her own, and they don't know about it, or do they? And this has been the plan all along, and nobody would have, where they're not mentioning that part. That's the part we're not privy to yet.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find that out. We're going to find that out next week in the finale of this book. It's so awesome. And we're going to do a better job. We'll do a better job of prepping. I think we've actually done a great job of prepping the chapters. We just look ahead and see what it is. And we just read about 25 minutes a piece and we're good.
Yep. So
I'm excited. I'm excited for the end of this book. And we're not reading ahead. Chris and I have not. You haven't been reading, right?
Nope.
Chris and I have not been reading ahead. He thought about it.
I thought about it one night, but I didn't.
But we didn't read ahead, so we don't know what's going to happen. It's just going to be awesome. But I picture in my head, like you got to picture what we know. So Jafar, we know what Jafar looks like in the cartoon and all that. But then it's a more sinister Jafar. You can take what you know and twist it, and you can twist it and put it in your own head for whatever. Sorry,
no.
I got sidetracked there for a second.
I
don't know if that means I'm boring. Is that what it means? So, sorry if that's it.
So the next chapter is the final wish, and then the chapter after that is the end. ... of magic.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Wait, what now? The final, what did you say?
The next chapter is the final wish.
Yeah.
And then the chapter after that is the end ... of magic.
That's interesting. And then we have the epilogue.
So
yeah, so according to this, based on the way I read, because it's always based on, well, I guess it's based on with both of us because I follow along when we do it. The next chapter is 45 minutes. Oops. So we have 45 minutes. Dang it, I did it again. Hang on. Oh, drive me nuts. No, quit doing that. All I want to see is the chapters. Is that up? There it is. Chapters. There we go. Okay, so the last one's 45 minutes. Or this one's 45 minutes. And then it's a lot of pages. The end of magic is 44 minutes. Is it long too?
I didn't think it was, but.
Oh, it just changed. 10 minutes. Oh. And then the epilogue is 7. So it's a little lopsided. That's why we're talking about where we're gonna go to. So Chris and I will decide how far he wants to read, and we'll pick a good
Split it
switching
up.
point.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes is a long time to be reading for one person.
There's a couple of breaks in there where it
Yeah.
breaks and changes scenes, so we can
Yep.
break it up.
So we're gonna have some fun with it, whatever it is we decide to do, because we're almost done.
Yep.
And then if we do this, I want to go back to what was the name of the final wish? Is that right?
Yes.
Got to get back there real quick so I don't lose my place.
That's our next
But one thing I did notice, Chris, the final wish, is when I read here, and then I tried to read. I forgot. I didn't bring it with me when I was staying at I had it at the Grand Flow, but I didn't bring it with me out and about. I had my phone while I was waiting in line, so I started reading here. Doesn't keep the same place in both these. What's up, Brad guy?
Hey, Rega.
So it doesn't keep the same. It doesn't keep the same point on this device as it does this device.
That's weird. Mine does.
I know. I don't understand. I don't know if I'm like logged into two. I can't be logged into two different accounts because I buy them all on here and they transfer over to here. So I don't know why it's not keeping the same spot. But I wonder if you have to take the Kindle, if this has to connect to the internet to upload where you've been reading.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Debbie says hers does.
Okay. I think I must have to do that.
Nico the Greco, welcome in. Nico the Greco says the final wish, not to be confused with Europe's The Final Countdown.
Okay. I'm excited that it's getting interesting. We're at that moment where and then now we're here. It's like cliffhanger. This is just like a movie. Every week we land on a cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. She said, "I'll consent to marry you."
Yep. Diana Murphy, hello. Yeah, I didn't go live after Steve.
He didn't. He took the night off.
I did.
I'm excited. I want to know the end of this book. I'll be honest with you. So I'm on book number 3 of the Other Villains series that we talked about. It's the one dealing with Ursula. I love that series, but these Twisted Tales are way better. Just
really good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. There's I've enjoyed this book a lot more than I expected, to be honest. Really enjoyed it. So, is this the point where we pivot to puzzle talk now, Steve?
This is, I don't know. I want to know the end of the story. I'm so enthralled in this thing that I kind of want to know, but yeah, we're following. Stacey, it's based on if you got the book or if you got the Kindle or whatever you're reading. It's 54 pages on what I have.
Yeah.
So just depends. It takes about 45 minutes based on what we read or what we're reading at. So sorry. Anyways.
No. I this is one of those nights where we stop reading because that's all we play. Corby Sinclair, welcome in. Hey Corby. Good to see you, Jeannie. But I could really keep reading.
Yes.
Just keep going.
Every week I'm like that. I just want to keep reading, but we're not, because that would defy what we're here for.
That would defeat the purpose.
This is like a good sitcom with 15 episodes in a season. You end on a cliffhanger and you don't get them all at the same time. Netflix, learn how to do this.
Right. So,
Chris sent you a text message.
Okay.
So we are gonna wrap this up next week.
Yep.
It's just so good. We got enough. The next week's episode is gonna be the longest reading that we've done so far. It's over an hour, so we're not gonna read it tonight.
No. But we we do have some puzzle talk we could do.
We got lots of puzzle talk. Man, see, we were on such a puzzle just high that we wanted to talk about it all the time. Then we went to the book, and now I don't want to talk about anything but the book, but now I want to go back to puzzles.
Good night, Kenneth H. And Mom is doing a little bit better.
Zanlax, I don't cheat. I do not. Sorry, go ahead, Chris, about your mom.
Mom's doing a little bit better this evening.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
How's your dad?
Appreciate it. Dad's doing well. No signs of anything from him. So
good.
Yeah. So.
Oops.
Yeah. And we got family coming in tonight. So.
You have family coming in tonight?
Yeah. The house is about to get crazy.
Oh, man.
Sarah J says I do jigsaw puzzles all day, every day on an app on my phone.
I used to do that.
I have that app too, Sarah J.
There's a Disney one. Did you do that one?
The one I do has Disney puzzles in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Magic puzzle or something like that.
Yeah, I used to do that one.
Yeah.
There's several of them out there. Mm-hmm. Oops.
But so a lot of you were fussing because me and Steve like the digital books versus real books.
Yep.
Me and Steve prefer real puzzles to digital puzzles.
That's true. Yes.
But I still do the digital ones too. But
I do not. I don't.
Yeah. So let's see.
I do puzzle games.
Yeah.
There's an actual there's so many on there, but it's called Puzzle Page. And it has there's all kinds of stuff. They do events, and there's all these different. There's Crossroad. Hey, Nathaniel. Nathaniel came in earlier while we were reading.
Hey, Nathaniel.
Then it has like crosswords and Sudoku and words. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. So,
yeah,
it's on hand. I got this on my hands, hand on.
Same thing, right? The app that I use for puzzles is Magic Jigsaw Puzzles.
Yes.
And it has Disney.
It has Disney in it. It actually has quite a bit of Disney.
So
I am Nathaniel. If you're really coming, I'll come get you.
Make it a repeat. Do it again.
He's coming in a couple weeks. I don't know if you want to. We'll do it again. Digital book saves trees. Thank you, Zanlax.
That's right, Zanlax.
But real puzzles don't. And I got some big puzzles.
We got big puzzles.
Let's do puzzle talk, Chris.
So before we get to puzzle talk, I will mention if you are a Prime member, they have several deals going on movies right now.
Is Strays out?
Huh?
Strays, is it out?
Strays is out.
Oh, I gotta buy it or gotta rent it.
$3.99 to rent.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah. There's several deals right now on
Wendy says we can plant more trees. Sarah J says, I'm here. You want to come get me and drive me to get food? Are you in Disney, Sarah?
Sarah.
First off, it's 10:30 and White Castle's probably the only thing that's open. It's a 3-hour wait. Is that out? Oh, that's the whole. You told me about that
This
one.
is the all 3 movies.
You got to rent or
$29.99.
buy all these that you're looking at. I'm
Yeah.
looking for movies that are out free right now that are on the.
Yeah.
That I don't have to pay for because there's so many movies that were this summer that I wanted to see that I didn't go see any of them.
Yeah. I think there's a deal on Barbie movie right now. Yeah. $12.99 to buy the Barbie movie. That one had been like $29.99.
That'll be free by the time we watch it in January.
True.
Oh, you are at Disney.
Meanwhile, in the puzzle sector, we found this one tonight.
Yes, the Sistine Chapel.
5,000 pieces. At
Yes.
Sistine Chapel.
5,000. What size is that? So, like, what is a 9,072 by 40 something?
This is.
That's gonna be like what 56 by 40 ish.
I
guess it depends on the puzzle piece size.
Doesn't show.
It'd be on the picture of the box.
Yeah, it would be, but it doesn't show a good picture of the box.
Like, you don't have a side view or anything there.
No.
Oh, that's terrible.
Let's go down here and see if it's entered in the comments. Size. Completed size is 60 by 40.
60 by 40. Cool.
5,000 pieces on that one. $77 for the Sistine Chapel. Sarah J says she'll be back down on December the 15th. This is the other one that we want. This is the Disney Museum.
Yeah. I'll have that one. That one's what 72 by.
Yeah, this one is
48?
It doesn't show a picture, it doesn't show on this box, so we'll have to go back down here. And we have a friend.
You got a friend. What's up,
buddy?
Thank y'all guys for having me.
Hey.
Dad Bills, thank you, buddy.
What's up?
I just wanted to hang out.
You want to hang out and talk puzzles?
Yeah, I'm always hanging out, and I'm always watching. Always building puzzles with y'all. Always listening to the books. Always watching the movies. I wasn't tired, and I reached out and thank y'all for letting me come hang out.
I don't know the size of this, Steve, but that's somebody's feet, and that's the puzzle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 72 by like 50 like 50 or something like that.
Hold on, I'm a foot person. I can tell who that is. Go back.
Hang on.
Hey Diane, hey Angela, how you doing?
It says the finished 9,000 piece is 192 by 138 centimeters.
Centimeters?
Yes.
Do we need to do the calculations?
I'm no good at conversion.
Hold on.
It's 75 inches by what's the other one?
138 by 192 by 138.
Like 75 by 52 or something like that.
Steve, you're fast.
This is a Dragon's 9,000 piece puzzle.
Have y'all seen that fantasy series that's coming out on Netflix?
No.
Hold on. I'll look it up while y'all keep talking about this. I feel like it's based off a book.
This one's $118. This is getting closer to my range. This is a 5,000 piece puzzle. For
Man, I want that one too. I added that to my cart as well.
Yeah, I like this one.
So that one's going to be about 60. When we say 60 by 42, 40, that's like 5 foot by 3.5 feet. It's a big puzzle.
That's a big puzzle.
It's a big puzzle. The other one, the 9,000 piece puzzle, is 75. It's my height. So that's a
Yeah.
bigger puzzle.
Yeah. $61 for that one.
That one's actually on sale.
That one's on sale. And this is a 18,000 piece puzzle. I found.
Yeah, it's not Disney though.
It's not Disney, but it's animals. This looks like a
that's a cool
Sunday
puzzle.
morning with Is Our Dream.
Oh, that actually looks cool. I thought that was dinosaurs when you showed it at first. I thought that was a Brachiosaurus or something with the elephant's trunk when you looked at it right there.
That one's 18,000 pieces.
Yeah,
18,000 pieces.
that's a
What's
big
the size?
puzzle.
What's the size of that one?
Oh, geez. That's going to be
This one will be
like 100 and...
What's the centimeters?
Yeah, what's the centimeters? Like 110 inches by...
let's go for the easy answer.
I got the centimeter conversion up, Chris.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
It is. Where was my conversion?
Down. Should be in there, right? No?
Nope.
Product description right there?
It says 10 by 7 by 3.
That's the box size, I think.
Well,
Well, that can't be right. 10 by 7 by 3?
6 foot by 9 foot.
Yeah.
good.
That's a big one.
Gosh.
6
Look
foot
good on
by
the wall
9.
right here, though. Well, it wouldn't fit on that wall. It looked good on that wall back there, though.
$186 for that one.
I don't know. Hang on a second.
So, like, let me ask you two guys this, like, as expert gluers,
Yes.
back and front,
Yes.
how would you do that on like a flat plane and then put it up on a wall?
What?
Like, so, like, obviously you would put that on a you would put that together like on a horizontal plane, right?
Yeah. And you're going to glue it.
And you're going to glue it, so you can pick up a 6 by 9 piece and put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
The
But
glue is that.
then you're going to flip it over to glue. The glue's really good, man.
But you do sections, don't you, Steve?
It depends on what
what I was
size. So
thinking.
on a 6 by 9, I would do sections for it, because if you don't have a 6 foot by 9 foot wall, you're going to want to store it at some point in time. That storing is harder. So the biggest one I have, Ryan, is 22.5 feet long by 6.5 feet tall.
Have
That's
you
the
done
biggest
that
one.
one, or is it still in the box?
I've got 4 of the 10 sections done, and each one of them is 4 foot by 3 foot. Well, it's like 4 and a whatever 1/8 by 3 1/4. So I mean they're big pieces, but I didn't want to glue them in that. So what I did is I glued them in thirds. But you gotta.
So when you're gluing the sections, do you have to be very careful? Like, you have to be
Yes.
very, very methodical about how you do it?
More methodical than you can even imagine, because not only do you put it all together, and I count the number of pieces that I need to get to exactly a third, right?
Right.
So that first section, I'm going to glue, and I'm going to glue it, leave the gap, and then glue it, and then fill in very carefully around all the edges so that I have 3 separate sections. When you go to glue the next section on it, they have to be connected to the one that's glued already, because if you glue them individually, they have some play in them between the puzzle pieces. If you glue them individually, they will never line up and glue together. So in order to glue them, you have to keep adding them to the pieces that they're side by side. So I started in the top middle of 10 sections. There's 5 and 5. So I started in the top middle, and then I can go all the way across the top and all the way across the top on this side. And then you start with the bottom middle and do the same thing, because you have to put them in connection with each other when they glue, and then they have to dry. Then you can take them out. Otherwise, the spacing between the puzzles, because there is a little bit of wiggle room, will never line up with that many pieces.
Because, I mean, like, you look at that, and like I'd imagine any piece is kind of like that size, Steve, or like the one that you were talking about that's really big. Like,
yeah,
there's. I would wonder what the percentages of people who put this together. They're like, I'm going to put this together and take it apart, or I'm going to put this together and glue it and put it on my wall.
I cannot imagine anybody. I could be completely incorrect. This is not a quick puzzle build.
I think that you and I are going to agree here with what you're about to say.
They're going to glue this thing.
Right.
They're not going to tear it apart. If you
This is a showpiece. This is a showpiece.
It's a showpiece. You're not going to spend weeks of your life building this to destroy it. I could be wrong. Maybe you just want a picture, and then you want to pass it on to somebody else. I don't know.
If I had to guess, it would be 75-25.
Yeah. And a lot of puzzles of this size come in different bags. So you're not going to have, how many pieces was this, Chris? 18,000?
18,000.
You're not going to have 18,000 pieces to sort through. You're going to have probably 6 bags of 3,000. So that's probably going to be in 6 sections, 3 across the top, 3 across the bottom.
I just want to go on record as saying, like last Sunday, the Doiker is a no-show in this picture.
Oh, yeah. Is that a rainbow in the background?
Hey, Nathaniel. Hey, Chris, you know what's really cool about what we were at Animal Kingdom this past weekend on Saturday. And so I think they call it Joey is the newborn.
Uh-huh.
And so there's 3 Doikers in Animal Kingdom.
There's 3?
There's 2 parents and 1 kid.
Oh, wow.
And so they put the mom and the child together, and usually that happens on the safari side. So the adolescent or whatever you want to the newborn or the baby is in what they call in show. They usually put it on the safari side because there is and if you've watched Jeff Streams, was it the copy? The copy whose name is Zelda. She's a female and she's very she likes to have her own space. She doesn't like any company. And so they've been incorporating the Doiker in with her lately. And they've been putting the male with her on the gorilla trail, and then putting the mother and Joey on the safari side. So if you ride the safari, there's a chance that you can see the baby Doiker.
Good night and happy Thanksgiving, Sarah J.
Don't forget to wear your stretchy pants.
Good night, Sarah J. We met Sarah J a couple months ago. She's a sweetheart.
She's here again.
Oh, Lord.
She just told us she's here.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
This is another 18,000 piece one. That's Paradise Sunset.
That's not the one you sent me. Have you shown the one you sent me earlier about the ocean?
Oh, yeah, I can pull that one up too. This is 18,000 pieces. $186. And then this is the Steve's Big Shetty.
That's what?
This is not the one you got.
That's the other one. I don't have that one. I didn't want that one.
This is the Mickey Through the Years version.
Yep. So Nicole has so what they've done is they've taken this big puzzle, which that's the same way. It's 22.5 feet by 6.5 feet. They take these puzzles and then they make the individual puzzles of them as well. And she has a puzzle shop that had one of those scenes in it. I think
40,320 pieces.
Yep. Now the one I have is same piece count. Is that like $600 or something like that?
This one is 1,249.
That's not right. Don't buy that. Somebody's gouging you.
This is the one Steve's got.
There it is. Yeah, that's the one. And that one's $600, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one I have right there. So I started with Dumbo. And it's the only section that's glued because before I realized how I had to do it, I was just picking scenes. So I'm done with Dumbo. I'm done with Snow White. I'm done with Beauty and the Beast. And I'm almost done with Bambi. But they're not in order because I didn't do them that way. So now I've come back to where I can glue Bambi. I'm doing Bambi now so that I can glue Bambi. Then I'm moving to Little Mermaid so I can start putting things together and gluing them the way they're supposed to be glued after I figured out how you had to glue them. So,
yeah, and you can buy these in like I think
I have the 1,000-piece versions of all those too, which I have no idea why. I've got the big one. Why would I need the 10 smaller ones? But I bought the 10 smaller ones. It is a what's it called? Addiction.
Diana
with it.
Murphy says, I'm looking to get a friend of mine a puzzle table. What do you both recommend?
So you're going to get something that's more likely just the top of you're not gonna, they have some with legs, but they're wobbly and everything. So I love the one I have. It's very large and wooden. It has a clasp that you can hang stuff on. It's got puzzle drawers underneath that you can pull out and put your puzzle in. So just something that I would get something that's 4 foot by 3 foot, because that'll handle a lot of normal puzzles that people will get.
Is that 40,320 pieces?
Yes. That's the one I have.
That's a lot of scotch.
Yeah, that is. That was $600, but at the time I got it for $500, and all of my family pitched in for like Christmas, and they all put it in, and then I paid the rest of it so I could get it.
Stacy, I'm trying to figure it out. We were watching TV the other day, and they had a preview of this series that was coming out. It almost reminded me of, like, I told Lauren, I was like, before it came out, that I was like, I think this is like Mortal Kombat. But they had this preview of this series coming out, and I can't remember the streaming service it was on.
Well, Disney has one that's very similar to that.
What's that called?
It's like one word, and it's Japanese, and it's like Sing Tashi or something like that. A Shinobi or something.
That could be it. Hey, let me ask you this: has your Disney Plus asked you to approve TVMA?
No, mine's already set with no parental controls.
How long ago did you do that?
When I first signed up.
Mine just did that, and it was just like, do you want to like be able to watch like everything that's available, or do you want to watch TV 14?
It may have just.
I don't think it was Disney Plus. I didn't think it was Disney Plus. I thought it was Netflix or
Well, Disney. The one that I'm showing on Disney it's not Disney. I think it's like National Geographic or whatever, one of the Disney properties, because they had it over at and I got pictures. I guess I could go try to figure out what day it was.
The one I'm talking about. The preview was pretty graphic. I mean, it felt very Mortal Kombat.
Either like Hulu or National Geographic or something like that. The show was coming out on. Right. Let me see if I can figure out what it is real quick. Hang on.
Then says Into the Badlands. I've seen.
Yeah, Happy Haunts. It just did the parental controls for me like 2 days ago.
Let me see here.
This is a 9,000 piece one that's on sale at Target right now for $100, and it's all.
How big is that?
Ocean 9,000 pieces. This one,
size wise, I got the converter up, Chris.
Right there, but I can't turn my head enough to see it. See if it shows it in the specs. Assembled, it is 76 by 54.
That's the inches, right?
Wow.
Yes, that's an inch.
That's like 6.5 feet by something.
Yep.
Someone's a heavy typer.
Sorry.
Don't you love that? Like it sounds like a customer service. Like, we'll be with you in just a moment.
Let me see.
Man, I can't figure out what this is called. All right, I gotta look now.
Have y'all ever done one of those puzzles, like those like murder mystery puzzles, like the Sherlock Holmes puzzles? I think I've talked to you about this, Steve. Like we've got a couple of those here we haven't done.
They're cool. So there's like I've done escape room puzzles, which are kind of neat, and then the murder mystery type things too. And the escape room ones are really cool because there's a bunch of different puzzles inside the puzzle itself. Like you got to solve, and then you have to take those pieces. There'll be numbers all over the puzzle pieces. You'll have to take some of those pieces, put them together to form something else. Yeah. So it's really cool. I don't want to give anything away with what the ones I've done, but All right, so now I got to go through all these stupid pictures until you know what? Maybe I've got it organized already. Let me see here. I actually think I've already put this where it goes. So let me see here. Where's
Hey,
the
hey, Corby, how you doing?
what up?
Let's see.
Oh, come on.
Debbie says she watched Dashing Through the Snow on Disney Plus last night. It was okay, not the best.
Ooh,
Okay.
has anybody seen the 3 Santa Clauses? Like it has the it has Cam from Modern Family as one of the Santa Clauses, I think.
What? Is it?
It's the new Tim Allen Santa Claus, like that has like.
Oh no, don't say anything because we haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it either. I want to see it, but it like
it's a TV show. Did you watch last season?
No, I was a big fan of Modern Family.
Me too.
And so like I think Cam
Eric
from Modern
Stonestreet,
right, is one of the Santa Clauses.
Yeah, he plays the bad one. Don't ruin it for anybody.
I haven't seen it.
It's just in the preview. Yeah, it's so they have the 3 original Santa Clauses, Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3. Then last season they came out with a TV series,
right?
Like 6 or 8 episodes, and now season 2 is out. That's what he's in.
I still love. I think the last one I watched that Disney did was it Noel?
I love Noel. We were supposed to watch that last week, but we had to cut it short.
I love that movie. And was it Anna Kendrick?
Yes, and Bill Hader.
Well, see, the one that touches my heart because I'm from North Carolina is Hallmark Channel is about to come out with a Biltmore Christmas.
Really?
A movie, yeah. I'll tell you what it is, Chris. It's a Biltmore. I think it's called a Biltmore Christmas. Yeah. Let's see here.
Okay, so it's still got to be on here because I didn't take it off.
It's not Christmas, but it was just added to Max, and I watched that the other night. And it wasn't terrible.
Hey, Chris, it's called a Biltmore Christmas, and it premieres November 26th.
Okay.
But they filmed it at Biltmore.
What channel?
Hallmark Channel.
Okay.
But we were annual pass holders at the Biltmore Estates. It's one of my favorite places on earth.
Yeah, I watched Blue Beetle the other night. I kind of enjoyed it. It wasn't bad.
Is anybody? Chris? Are you watching? Have you been watching Wrexham? The Wrexham series?
I love Welcome to Wrexham.
It's
one of the best things I've ever seen.
I love it too. We just watched an episode of that.
I fell in love with that, which I like soccer. So
it's not even. I mean, like that's a small part of it. I mean, like it is about soccer, but it's much more than that.
Yeah, but it's man, it was so good. It's so good. I'm like 3 episodes behind though. So for season 2.
Oh no, yeah, we just got to the one where they talked about how much money they're losing.
I think that's the one I just watched.
Yeah, same here. It's unfathomable. I mean, like when they talk about like them losing.
See, I already know what happens because I follow soccer.
Well, yeah.
So, but man, there's some of those episodes that just tug at you like so much. It's crazy.
I love that. And so, like, I guess over there with every male team, they have a female team. That female team episode was amazing.
Yep. That was just 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Right.
Yep. So we're on the same place.
But they've lost before they got promoted.
Who? I don't follow the women yet, so
no, the men.
Don't ruin it for people.
I mean, it's a year behind.
Actually, it's only like they just got it so the episode I just watched was dated from March of this year.
Right.
They had so about 6 months ago.
So before they had their good fortune, they were in the hole $12 million.
Yeah. Which they got some good money. And that's a lot, but
Hey, regardless of how
But
much money you're worth, that's a lot of money.
it is a lot of money, but that's also not counting what they're making off the documentary and everything else that they're going to do. So they're going to make a lot of money off this thing. So
They
hasn't
are.
come through yet.
They are, but I think they want to sustain it as a football team and not
100%. And they're going
to not depend on a documentary and not depend on like their celebrity. Like
yeah.
But I think the whole thing is like with any promotion,
Yep,
becomes more revenue for in the league for teams and what you're paid for broadcastings and like you're paid shares of broadcasting contracts, and so they had a former footballer on there, or like in the press last week, they was talking about them, and they were saying like for them to make it to the Premier League, which is the top of like the EPL, would take them probably between 8 and 10 years.
Yeah, if they continue at the pace they're at,
right? And then so
they have to jump like what is it, 6 leagues?
Well, I think they bought the team for like $3-4 million.
Yeah,
and so like if you think about that, if you make it to the English Premier League, and you want to sell your team, you're talking about $3-4 billion.
They said they're not going to sell it.
I don't see them selling it.
I think they're having too much fun, and it means too much to them. They're invested in it, like emotionally.
Yeah, you can tell that's the fun part of the series is like you can see the emotional connection. Like I think it caught them off guard. Like I think they understood like being sports fans what a sports team meant locally to a community, but like
Steve, you wanted to watch Strays?
Yes.
That is on Peacock right now.
Really?
Yes.
So,
man.
Stacy, it's called A Biltmore Christmas. It's on the if you Google A Biltmore Christmas on the Hallmark Channel, it'll be on the Hallmark Channel, and I think it says it premieres on Sunday, November 26th at 8 p.m. 8 Central. I'm sorry, that's 9 p.m.
I know this had to be before September, right? What month are we in? November? So that'd be 2 months ago.
A Biltmore Christmas. They built that. They filmed that at the Biltmore Estate, which is the largest private residence in America. The Vanderbilt.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's breathtaking, really.
Especially at Christmas.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Where's that at?
Biltmore?
Asheville, North Carolina.
So I think a lot of people know the Vanderbilts. Like you like they're the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, the Astors, like America's richest families.
Yeah.
And George Vanderbilt, like they were all up in there. What was it, Rhode Island and New York City and whatnot, and they moved to. And George Vanderbilt had he had asthma and he had some other health conditions that the mountain air would help him with. So he found all this land, or he bought all this land in Asheville, North Carolina, which ended up becoming Pisgah National Forest. But he bought all that to create an estate for his family. Like that's it that he has on the screen. That's the Biltmore Estate. And it's still owned by the Vanderbilt family. It's privately owned. It's not a national. It's a national. What do you call it? A national historic landmark, but it's still owned privately by the family.
And you go on tours. Oh,
Chihuly and Biltmore Christmas is amazing.
I love Chihuly.
Oh,
I've gone to several of his displays.
So he has one in the Indianapolis Children's Museum.
Really?
Indianapolis, the Children's Museum in Indianapolis is the largest children's museum in the world, and it's rated the best in the world, and it is pretty incredible. And there's a whole display of this.
I think the big famous one's at the Venetian in Las Vegas. And then he did an exhibit here that was, this was about 3 or 4 years ago. That was amazing.
Okay, this can't be this. I've got to find this. It's gonna drive me nuts till I find it. So I didn't put it there. So I must have put it under miscellaneous.
The nice part is, I think they owned, Chris, I think they owned upwards of 100,000+ acres of land. And
Yeah.
George Vanderbilt died in like 1914 or 1916, and his wife, Camellia, if I'm getting her name right, that might have been his daughter, but his wife, once she was remarried and whatnot, she bequeathed everything but 8,000 acres to North Carolina to create Pisgah National Forest and to start the first forestry service in North America, or in the United States.
Yes, Windy B Grove Park Inn is in Asheville as well.
Biltmore Estate now has 8,000 acres from that. I think it was 120,000 acres originally, and they only have like 8,000 acres left. But they gave it to the National Park Service to create Pisgah National Forest. Yeah. It's an amazing story. If anybody wants to read the history of Biltmore Estate, so the one interesting fact about just one of the many interesting facts about Biltmore Estate is Olmsted was the landscape architect who also did Central Park and the Washington Mall in DC, and he did the landscaping for Biltmore Estate, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Have you done any of these tours, Raga?
I've done about all of them.
I've done I enjoyed the winery tour, and I've
done of course I've done that.
I did the red wine and chocolate tasting tour.
That was really good. That was
really interesting because they teach you what wines go with what chocolates, and you sample them both, and you get to experience
wine and chocolate.
Wine and chocolate is one of the most amazing pairings of food you can have.
Huh. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
The best thing about the wine tour is at the end of the tour, you get to do the tasting, and you can sit there and just taste as many of the wines as you want.
So interesting enough is that if anybody's watched the Downton Abbey series, I think they made like an American series based on that, and it was based on like the Vanderbilts and whatnot of the American Downton series. I don't think it was as popular, but you know, a lot of these estates got torn down. Yeah. This is one that's lasted. And I'm sure there's an amazing puzzle with Biltmore on it.
I'm sure there is, actually. I'll have to look at that next time I go to Asheville.
I know when you go there's 3D puzzles.
Yeah, I don't want one of those. I need just a good old
regular one. Oh, why is it so hard to find?
Chris, you got big plans for Thanksgiving?
We got some family coming in tonight, and nothing big planned. Just spending time with some family.
That's now. Let me ask you this. Now, are you part of the cooking team, or are you part of the sitting back watching and critiquing team?
I'm part of the go to the grocery store. We need this team.
Yeah.
Oops, I didn't spell that right.
Chris, when's your next trip down here? First of all, is that public information?
Not fully, but it'll be at some point next year.
Yes. I'll be here for that.
Yeah, you will be.
Yep.
So
I tell you what, Chris. Like Lauren and I talk about it all the time. Like, what do we miss? I mean, we love everything about living down here, and there's one thing that we miss, and it's the mountains of the Carolinas.
I love my mountains.
There ain't nothing like it.
I take a picture of one every Sunday morning.
Ain't nothing like it.
This is driving me insane. I took a ton of pictures. I cannot remember the time frame of them. I don't know where I put them on my hard drive. They're not on my phone. I don't know what, and it's not. It should be easy. It's the only Asian movie show that was promoted with had a garden and water and everything else sitting right there in the middle of Contemporary, and nobody has an article on it whatsoever.
Wendy B's got it right. Team Cook versus Team Taste.
Dinah Murphy, I wish I was coming down for Magical Night of Hope as well.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of friends there.
Is anybody else not to change the subject? Is anybody else just hate the NBA as much as I do?
Take that picture every Sunday.
I don't watch it.
There's no defense. Like the Pacers won today, 157 to 152. How's that even fun anymore in an NBA game?
So Chris, is how far is that from you? Is that like right outside your front door, or is that?
No, I passed that scene.
Yeah.
No, that's here. I pass that every Sunday when we go from church to lunch.
There ain't nothing like the Carolina Mountains, the Appalachians. There ain't nothing like it.
Every Sunday, I stop and take that picture.
I would say on the East Coast, there ain't nothing like that. I'm sure the Rockies and like California and like some of their mountain ranges and Yellowstone and all that, or Yosemite, but Appalachians are special.
I made a better version of that the other day, or loaded one to the computer. What did I put that?
You went there for something.
I tell you what, I fell asleep during the beginning of the
I know what
fourth quarter last night, but that was a good game of two teams not playing their best.
I didn't. Oh, here it is. I didn't get to watch it, but I did watch a little bit of it because I talked to Steve.
We were talking during the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go. This is a better. Oh no, not that.
I've never met Meg. That's crazy.
That's the picture. There you can see it a little bit better.
Chris, what was the D23 exhibit in Florida called?
Destination 23.
Destination 23. That's where I saw it. Okay. Oops, wrong button.
Well, I think we're gonna call it a night.
I'm gonna find this.
You need to find something for you.
Chris, that was hilarious. Like, I think we're gonna call this night. Hold on, just give me one more minute.
Now I remember where it is now. Now I just got to figure out what the exhibit was called.
He's gonna find it. He's like, I found it. Never mind.
No.
Now
what
I
thought it was.
There was. It was. I don't want August. I want. When was it this year? It was September 8th through the 10th. Okay, so let me see if I can narrow that down on my phone now.
Nicole did find a 500-piece puzzle of the Biltmore House.
October.
Yeah, 500 is that's entry level, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I do for a lot of the chill streams because it goes by pretty well.
Oh yeah, there. Okay, here we go.
Which I finished.
I found it. See, told you.
There you go.
It's called Shogun. Shogun. So
is that the new one on Disney?
It's on. Let me see what it's on. It's Disney. It's on one of the properties of Disney.
Hey,
It's,
Chris,
Hulu.
do you have any
Comes
of
out
this?
2024 on Hulu. Look, that's what I thought you were talking about.
It might be that one, Steve. Because we've been watching Hulu. I don't have Netflix, so like I don't know why. Like, who would have been?
So, and it looks like Mortal Kombat. That's the whole conversation started with you asking, "Hey, did you see this show?" I was trying to figure out if that's it. Look up Shogun. SHOGUN.
That's it.
See,
it.
I knew. See, I knew what you were talking about. I just had to figure it out.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
That was going to bother me.
Shogun.
Chris, have you seen Steve? I know Steve's seen them, but like the Star Wars puzzles that they have in Connections are like amazing. I really want the Darth Vader one.
Is it that you talking about where they're like? It looks like they're like being like fire coming out of them. He's got
like
it right.
This one, the Boba Fett one.
Yeah.
Yes, that's that series exactly.
So there's four of those now that I know of.
This is the only one I've got so far.
The Darth Vader one looks sick.
I have the Darth Vader, the Boba Fett, the Leia.
Yes.
And is it Luke Skywalker? Or who's the fourth one, Chris?
Is it a Yoda one or Grogu?
That's the
or
only
Kylo
one
Ren.
got.
It might be Kylo Ren.
Is the Boba Fett.
That's Buffalo Games, right? Or Buffalo?
This one is. As I about sneeze my head off. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
It doesn't even say on the box, Steve.
They're Disney branded. That means so. There's a Darth Vader one. Here it is.
They look like Buffalo Games.
Star Wars Exhibit Series. Star Wars.
They look great.
Exhibit.
Yes, it is because it says Shop Disney on the back.
Puzzles.
They're Disney branded ones.
Okay, so there is a Leia, a Boba Fett, a Vader.
I feel like they got like a lot of good Star Wars merch out right now.
Like the other one's not part of that series. So it's just those three in that series. The fourth one is just a compilation of different Star Wars stuff. They do have a 4-pack down there, Reggae, of Star Wars. They have it's got like the Banta and Grogu, and there's that one. It's pretty decent.
Is that like each one's like 500 pieces?
Yeah. But they're big pieces, so they're like going to be big puzzles. And then I found one at Walmart the other day for $10. That's a Christmas set, 3 Christmas puzzles, and one of them's Yoda, one of them's C-3PO, and I can't remember the other one. Darth Vader, I think. Darth Vader sitting in front of a fireplace with stockings and stuff.
Yeah. So like oddly enough, Chris and Steve, you can probably tell me if they found this is like I'm gonna try to get the name right. Lauren has been like collecting a little bit. Is it Nuimo?
Nuimo, yeah, Nuimo, Nuimo.
Yes, and so that's them.
Yep.
Those are the puzzles, and I think those are 500 pieces each.
Yeah. Actually, that's a different one. That's not the one that's there now. Go to the original. There's another 4-piece or 4-pack down there.
That's the only one they got on Shop Disney.
Hang on, let me see if I can.
But you know how I guess they sell the clothing for those new
Do you ever go to the Character Warehouse at the malls? The two of them.
No, we've never.
They have those Nuimo characters and clothes all the time.
Well, so like Lauren wants to know if there's like Christmas clothes.
I'm sure they have them. They're not going to be at those. They'll be at the World of Disney store or something. They have a whole section there at World of Disney.
Okay.
I'll be going there at some point in time.
Is that far from us?
The World of Disney is at Springs.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah. There's a whole, when you walk in. So if you're coming from Polite Pig and you walk in the side door,
you
get the first register there, that big room. As soon as you go to the next transition, they're right there on the left. It's a whole massive section of them. That's a cool puzzle too.
So we've just never been to Character Warehouse. That's cool.
Those are cool. You would like Character Warehouse, man. Everything's like 50% off what it was in the shop in the thing. There's 2 of them. There's one at Vineland and then there's one at International Drive.
Okay,
and they're both pretty cool. Like the golden statues. You remember the big golden statues they were selling for $100? They were $29.99 over there. The $500 Lionel train that everybody was going nuts over the 50th anniversary, they got for $149. I mean, there's
Yeah,
big
so
deals.
that's the thing. I was like, we got a tree, and I want to put I'd love to put a Disney train
Yeah.
around our tree,
Yeah.
and like I think the new 100-year Lionel is $500.
It is, but if you get the Disney Christmas train, it's only $149. I know, say only, but it's only $149. It's not Lionel though. Chris, here's the. This is the one I was talking about. This is the one they have down at Springs.
Oh yeah,
With the is that the Banta or whatever this is over here?
Mudhorn. Yeah,
Mudhorn, that's what it is. And then so this is the 4-pack that I saw at World Disney the other day.
that's the one that's common. This other Grogu pack is new one.
And
I
think
like the other one better than I liked those, to be honest.
Steve, I think they got they got both of those sets at Connections as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's where I've seen them, and I think they had multiples, or like
Nice.
I know they had two different.
I have that one I just showed. I do not have the one Chris showed. I've never even seen. I didn't know they had the other one that Chris showed.
This is there you go.
Oh yeah, there also is. Nicole brought up a good point. If you're wanting it, Rye Guy, there is a Christmas Advent calendar for New Emos that has a bunch of Christmas clothes and stuff in it, but it is pricey.
What's yeah,
like 140, 150. But you get like 24, or it's either 12 or 24. I don't know which one it is, but there's different clothes and stuff like that for your new. And I'm sure you're going to get like a special Mickey and a special Minnie. They'll usually come with a couple characters and then a bunch of clothes.
yeah. I don't think Lala's in it for that much. I think she has the Ahsoka and she has Daisy Duck, and I think she'd like to put a Christmas outfit on it. That's about it.
Yeah. There should be Christmas outfits. I'll be there probably Friday. Oh, I'm watching a movie. I'm watching Wish Friday morning. So I'll be there Friday. I'll run in there, and if they have them, I'll snap a picture for you and show you what they got.
Well, you and I, we talked about it. We need to still go see Napoleon.
Yeah. And I've got like, I'm good doing that Friday, but I have Wish too. So we want to do it. Just got to work around that one.
Sure. We'll be
and
around.
Carlos comes in on Friday too.
Don't we all know?
Yes. And I got, I have dinner with him. So we got to do it between dinner if we're going to watch Napoleon. So
I think we might be on the same dinner nights, a couple nights, right? Are you trying to leave, Chris?
Yeah, we're gonna call it a night.
Thanks, buddy.
Love y'all. Hope you have a very happy, safe, and blessed Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Is this your last stream before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, because I won't be here tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's D&T, 9:00.
the Thanksgiving story.
Thanksgiving story.
Told by this and that.
You got Joy S at 8:00 and T Marie's place at 5:00 tomorrow. I guess I don't know. But I hope everybody has a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And we'll see you back soon. I don't think there'll be a stream Thursday night, but I don't know.
Who knows?
You never can tell what'll happen when I talk to Steve. So
I won't be there Thursday, Chris.
oh, okay. So we'll see you back soon. Love you all. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
I guess it could be late at night. We'll see.
Chris, thanks for letting me come in and hang out, my friend.
You're welcome. I'm thankful for all of you, and I appreciate you being here and hanging out with us.
All right.
Take care. See y'all soon. Bye. Toodles.